This one is another fandom I've never done before, which is Stranger Things. I mean, I've written a Stranger Thing or if Tommy in it inspired Stranger. Well, no, it was Stranger Things inspired Tommy in it fic, but I've never I've never read any um Stranger Thing fics or any especially any Steddie. I've known that's a ship. I've known that's a ship. That's like one of my ships. I love it. But yeah, this one is 1,264 words. It is the second for Christmas fic. Ficmas? But that would be yeah, we do Ficmas. Okay. Um s- the only gift I want for you is for Christmas is you, Steady orphan account. A smallish one shot of Steve Harrington and Eddie Munson getting high on Christmas. I cannot say his name. I always do that. Munson. I don't know why I do it. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. Because I have no clue. And neither do you. And I am doing, just. I'm doing these snowflakes for the covers because I like drawing snowflakes, and so I'm trying to draw one now, and I don't like this one. I don't feel like it fits, but I don't know what else to do. So, yeah, we're gonna go with it. And I'm trying to do it theme colored too, but I don't know how I would do that. I don't know how I would make it theme colored. Um, I mean, fuck. I don't know how I would do the theme colored. Because what are their colors? What are their theme colors? I have no clue. I'm just gonna have to bullshit this one, aren't I? That's what I'm gonna have to do is bullshit it all. That's gonna be fun. Okay, I'm gonna stop drawing now. Stop. I'm gonna stop. I cannot wait. I got myself a sketch pad to do the covers easier and actually make covers for my stories now because or digital sketch pad, that's what I got. But anyway, the only gift for I want for Christmas is you by Orphan Account. A smallish one shot of Steve Harrington and Eddie Munson getting high on Christmas. The night was still fairly young, and there was surprisingly no snow as the time ran. Christmas was never Steve's thing, but Robin always did enjoy it. I need to get going soon, she sighed. Robin still had a family, and while she did love them, she didn't want Steve to be alone on Christmas. I'm fine, Rob. Go be with your family. Steve slightly laughs. No reason in particular. He just didn't know how to get her to stop trying to stay. Are you sure? She asks as she puts her coat on. I'm sure. You don't need to worry. I'll just watch dumb movies until I sleep, he says. She gives him a look, but just nods. You really don't need me to drive you? He asks. She smiles slightly and nods again. I'm just gonna go visit Vicky. She said she has a surprise for me, and I just can't wait. And I just can't wait. Her smile gets even bigger. Does Vicky live close? I don't want you freezing your tits off. She nods again, and after a hug and goodbye, she leaves. Steve sighs and looks around at the decorated house. The kids had come by around the 1st of December and decorated. Eddie had also tagged along, but Steve knew they forced him to drive them. A few hours later, Steve had run out of Christmas movies. He never found the need to buy them, and his parents were never around to buy any. As he searched for more, he heard a knock on the door. When he opened it, he was met with the town's freak. "Eddie?" Steve asks. "Hi, Steve." Eddie smirks as he leans against the door. Steve notices a small bag in his hands, but doesn't mention it. "Why are you here? It's fucking what, 10?" Steve looks at the clock to see it's actually 11, but that doesn't matter. "Am I not good enough company for you?" "I'm hurt, sweetheart." Eddie nudges his way past Steve and shuts the door before heading over to the couch. He also threw the bag on the floor, so it probably wasn't important. "You're fine, but I was going to sleep, idiot." Steve walks into the living room, crosses his arms at the sight of Eddie laying across his couch with his arms behind his head for support. Eddie just smiles in response. "You didn't have to answer." Steve just glares in response and moves Eddie's legs off the couch to sit down. "Why are you here, Munson?" Steve usually got annoyed easily these days. "Why does it matter?" Eddie leans closer to Steve, making him freeze up. Eddie saw that he was pissing Steve off, so he backed away and crossed his arms. "I just got a little lonely. Wayne has to work tonight, and I wasn't tired," he says. "When are you tired? You have so much energy, you're like Mike and Dustin combined." "I can get tired, King Steve. Plus, admit it, you secretly like this." Eddie sits crisscross applesauce on the couch facing Steve and smirks as Steve just sends him an even more annoyed look. "Like what?" "Me?" Eddie says it so easily, as if it wouldn't affect Steve. "It does." "I don't." Eddie sends a look that Steve doesn't fully understand and leans back more. "Fine, if you really were doing something important, I'll leave." "Good." Eddie smiles as he just stays where he was. "Why aren't you—" "I knew you were in here watching movies," he says. Steve rolls his eyes and stands up to go to the kitchen with Eddie following him. "You don't even seem tired. Maybe I even have something to tell you." Eddie continues on. "What would you need to tell me at 11 p.m.? Steve asks as he leans against the counter. Eddie walks closer and encloses the space between him and Steve, using the counter for support. Steve widens his eyes slightly, but he doesn't move. "I like you, Stevie," Eddie whispers. Steve opens his mouth to say something, but nothing comes out. "What the hell is this?" Eddie then smiles widely and starts laughing as Steve's face turns red. "You asshole," Steve says. "Come on, leave a little." That reaction was priceless. "It really wasn't," Steve thinks. "I don't need you here. Talk to Dustin or something." Steve just wanted Eddie to tell him why he was here and leave. To be honest, he always gets angry at Christmas. His parents were never there, and he just hated that. He doesn't mean to be as angry as he is, but he just is. "Steve, I know you're angry, but I did bring some peaceful bliss as an offering," Eddie says, bringing a small bag out of his pocket. Steve glares at him before sighing and holding his hand out for the bag. Eddie smiles in response. "There's the Steve everyone loves," he says. So maybe it wasn't a good idea to get high at 1 a.m., but what else was Steve supposed to do? He's a 20-year-old with nothing to do on Christmas Day. Steve also didn't realize that he was staring at a spot in the wall for longer than he should have. "You okay over there, Stevie?" Eddie asks. The two were sat in Steve's bathroom leaning against the wall. How they got there, you probably shouldn't ask. Fine. he says. It was a silent for a few minutes after that. I hope you know I didn't come here to be just to be less lonely and get high, Eddie says. Does that explain the bag? I got you something, but Henderson said you would hate it, and I still bought it for some reason, because I guess I just wanted to show you my appreciation. That's dumb. I'm sorry. Eddie rambles. It's okay. Steve, it's okay. Steve whispers, but he meant for it to be louder. It's a green shirt, but Henderson says you don't really enjoy the color green, something about it reminding you of your job. Anyways, you don't have to enjoy it. I'd understand if you wouldn't want it. Do you always ramble when you get high, Eds? Okay, so maybe Steve was less careful when he spoke when he got high, but Eddie didn't seem disgusted by the name. So it's something, right? Only when I'm nervous, Eddie whispers. Steve finally looks over at Eddie, finding the long-haired boy fidgeting with the rips of his jeans. Steve still doesn't understand how he doesn't complain about his knees freezing off. Only when you're nervous, Steve repeats, but it's in a whisper. Maybe he's scared speaking louder will ruin the moment. I got you a present too, Steve admits. Eddie furrows his brows and gives Steve a really look. It's nothing special, just wanted to let you know I don't actually hate you and all, he confesses. Eddie smiles and leans in closer to Steve. Not on purpose, of course, but he just feels like he needs to. I figured you didn't. Why? I just figured. Why else would you let me in? Steve smiles. I kinda want it to snow right now. Eddie smiles too, and it grows bigger when the two share eye contact. Maybe we'll get lucky. Want to check? Steve nods and quickly stands up. Both Eddie and Steve check. Maybe luck is on their side because there's a small amount of snow falling from the dark side. Maybe later we can walk in it. Steve chuckles in response. Maybe I can see this green shirt Henderson says I hate. Okay, yeah, I recorded this the next day because my voice just absolutely died last night, and there was no way I was gonna, fucking be able to finish recording this. So yeah, yay, we're done. This is Fic 2 out of 25, and we're good, and we're great, and we're awesome. Okay, let's go to the next one.